Testing the audio here. I think we're good. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. All right, just waiting for people to hop online here. Cool. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Hi, man. I'm from Tajikistan, Central Asia. Nice. Cool. Guys, today is going to be a fun little Blender tutorial. We're going to be creating a cool environment. I have an idea in my head. I'm going to sketch it out, and then we're going to create it I'm also streaming on YouTube, by the way. We're going to create it in Blender. So, what's up? What's up, Apollo? How's it going, man? Happy Monday, everybody. It is Monday, right? Am I tripping? Yeah, it's Monday. Okay, we already got some questions. How much time will it take to learn Blender for beginners? I mean, it can take you 7 days if you do it every single day, you know? So I would say, to answer that question, just keep at it. Like, you could learn it in a day. If you work all day, you just watch a bunch of YouTube videos, you could learn Blender in a day. It's really not that hard to learn, in my opinion. Post it on YouTube later? Yeah, I mean, it'll be this live stream will be on YouTube. I'm live streaming right now. I don't see anybody in the chat, but I do think we're live here. Yeah, it looks good. All right, cool. So let me go ahead and flip the camera so you guys can see what I'm drawing. And then I just need something to make a circle with. I got pencils. I'll probably just use a pen. I like using a pen. I just got this new notebook. Yes, have you guys seen this? I posted this to my story the other day. Got this at Marshall's. Can you help us in learning? Yeah, that's literally what I'm here to do. Anyway, guys, for YouTube, I just got this new notebook, and I love it. I haven't done anything in this notebook yet, but I'm about to draw something in here. Sorry, I got a few other questions in here. Do you have YouTube beginner courses? Working on that. I'm working on sorting through all those because I have recorded a whole beginner's tutorial lesson. I just haven't posted it yet, so. What are your PC specs? Hi, Kenny, sir. How are you? I'm great. Harshit Mishra. I think I said that right. Apollo, what are your PC specs? GeForce RTX 3070 Ti. 64 gigabytes of RAM. Intel i9. Is a quad fan setup with an Asus motherboard. And then I think that's it. Did I say 2 terabyte solid state drive? I said that right. Yeah, I'll send you. I'll have to actually put that list in my YouTube description because I know a lot of you guys care a lot about that. So, anyways, we should probably get into this. Sir, you need to plan Blender Basic to Advanced Pre-Recorded FX Recorded course. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's on my list is to cover some visual effects. I just haven't gotten there yet. Hello, nice. Hello, sir. How are you guys doing today? All right, so guys, what I want to do is kind of create some abstract art today. That's the goal. I've been doing these tutorials lately where I kind of just do whatever I want, and you guys seem to like it enough, so that's probably what we're going to do today. How do we understand the geometry of nodes? Are you talking about geometry nodes? Those are a little more complex to teach. I don't even really know them myself, but I will definitely have to add that to the list. I am your new subscriber. Your work is really dope. Thank you. I appreciate that. What about art challenge? Someone's asking about the art challenge. Yeah, so I'm going to have a visual effects challenge soon. I was going to partner with someone on that, but I decided I'm just going to do it by myself, kind of host it on my own. And I'm going to publish it up on YouTube, everywhere, all the platforms, let you guys know about it. I'll definitely be in the Discord. We're getting close to 200 people on Discord, so we're doing really well there. So I'm really happy to have you guys in the Discord. You guys are sharing some incredible work, and I'm able to kind of comment on that. I know a lot of you guys want to get your work critiqued, so I might make a whole separate section for just critique work. Like, one can be for sharing it, or, I mean, we could probably do everything in the same channel. But either way, I'm really happy to have you guys there. Sir, can you make a pre-recorded course for Blender FX simulation course? We'll mail you today. We'll do this after live. Be ready, sir. Thank you. Lots of love from Hyderabad, India course. Lots of love from India, sir. Yeah, absolutely. Just message me. If you guys have ideas for tutorials, please message me. I literally have a list going of like 30 plus tutorials that I'm going to be covering. It's just a lot of work to get that together and actually make something that's useful for you, so that if I don't understand it fully, I'm not going to teach you guys that thing. So I have to first learn it before I actually teach you guys. All right, so we're live on YouTube, we're live on Instagram, we're not live on TikTok because I don't know how to make all three of those things happen at once, but that's okay. I got my new notebook here, guys, and I want to sketch out an idea, and then I want to go ahead and bring that into Blender and just kind of create it from scratch. I'm not gonna download anything. The only thing we'll probably use that you would need to download is an HDRI. Honestly, we can do it without the HDRI. We can still create something really cool without it, but sometimes it's helpful to have those extra resources. I know you guys everybody wants to do something for free. Sorry guys, sometimes you have to pay for stuff. Nothing in this world is free. Because even if you do it for free and you don't download anything using your money, guess what you're still using? You ready for this? Plot twist. You're still using your time, which you could easily be converting into money. So sometimes it's helpful to buy assets online to save yourself time, which in the long run is going to save you money. But luckily, I have a bunch of free resources I'm going to share with you guys, so more than likely you'll be able to get this stuff for free anyway. But my point is, sometimes you have to pay for stuff, especially when it comes to high quality models and high quality HDRIs and environments. Sometimes that stuff is worth paying for. I know you guys are on a budget, so am I, but you get what you pay for. Obviously, Blender's free, so that's your biggest resource right there for free. So you already have that. All right, so what I want to do is I want to get into the sketchbook here. I want to sketch out a nice abstract scene, and then I want to actually try to build it in Blender. So this will teach us a lot of things. One, how to plan out your project, and two, kind of how to translate that into 3D and how to think like a 3D designer and make things from scratch. So the idea I had in my head was a nice mountain landscape, kind of like a valley type of environment, and then inside that we're going to have some sort of subject, some type of sphere, maybe something simple, maybe something rotating around the sphere. We can pretty much make anything. So that's the beauty of Blender, but sometimes it's also not the beauty of Blender because you can't make up your darn mind on what you want to make. But we're in our sketchbook here. First page, I'm going to title it live stream 12/19. What is it, Monday? I'm just going to put 12/19. You guys are about to witness the worst handwriting you've ever seen. I'm just going to say Blender concept. All right. Blender concept. Sorry if I missed I think I missed a question on there. I apologize. Blender King. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Let me get something circular so I can actually draw a circle. Of course, I have not. I need to get one of those little. What are they called? I need to get a compass. Hi. What's up, Faith Mazurki? Did I say that right? Oh, here we go. All right, guys. We're gonna use this. This is from my microscope. It's like a little attachment, and it lets the light in through these. This one lets less light in, and then this one lets more light in. It's kind of like an aperture on a camera. All right, and also for the people who can't see on YouTube, this is the thing I'm talking about. And I'm just going to be using this to draw. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw a circle so that I know it's like the center of my scene here. And then I'm going to draw, yeah, so this is going to be like the subject. That was horrible, but I did what I could. And then I'm imagining this crazy mountainous landscape in the back, which we'll probably use some displacement modifiers for. Maybe a sun back here. Ooh, okay. And then maybe something in the foreground as well. And then I'm also thinking we add some water or like a river type of thing to this as well. And for those of you on YouTube, don't worry, I'm going to show you the sketch. Just give me a second here. Okay. Alright, so guys, this is really, really rough, but this is cool. I'm trying to imagine, like, when you create artwork, you want to make a contrast. Like, you want to have contrast in your artwork. Like, you want something to stand in the foreground or in the background, like, that is very apparent, and it stands in a way that it's differentiated from the background. Now, I went to art school, but honestly, I learned a lot of this stuff in high school. You don't always have to have a subject in your scene. Like, the scene itself can be the subject, but sometimes it helps to have something to, like, focus on. Even if it's just a primitive, like a sphere, a cube, a cone, or like a torus, like, it doesn't really matter. But this is what I'm thinking here for. This is, like I said, guys, this is really rough. So give me 1 second. Even I don't really like love this, but it's enough to get us like where we want to go here. And I'm also thinking we might be able to do some volumetrics for this, but I think I just want to have like this mountainous landscape with like a river flowing through it. Okay, so this is going to be really rough to show you guys, but I'm thinking we have a mountainous landscape like this, and then we have the subject here, maybe like a light source back here, and then a river flowing through like that. So pretty simple, but I think it's going to be really easy to make in Blender with like some of the absolute primitives and stuff. There you go for YouTube. So I think it's going to be pretty simple, and I'm going to show you guys like some simple techniques you can use to create a scene like this. And it should make for a pretty good tutorial / just overview of like how my process works. All right, what is this guy saying? He's saying, sir, after learning Blender FX simulation, can we apply for a VFX job? Hold on a second. Because after purchasing the course and practicing making a show reel, we can get a job for Blender. Yeah, so it's tough for me to like touch on this because I don't know where you're from, what the job opportunities are like in your area. Yeah, I mean, if you're experienced in something, you can probably get a job in that field, but it's really competitive. Just because a lot of things that people are making right now, like even like websites, like I was just talking to someone about this, is like all automated. Now, creative field, I think we still have a chance here before AI starts like really taking over, but yeah, the better you get at something, the more likely you are to be qualified for a job in that thing. I can't really touch on that like personally though. Sir, can we make a completely 3D feature film using Blender? Yeah, oh my god, absolutely you can. Yeah, it's been done. Go on Blender's website, look at some of the stuff that they post on there. It's been done. It's going to continue to be done, and it would not surprise me if there was a blockbuster film that comes out and it was entirely made in Blender. It's completely possible. Are people using Blender for that? Not necessarily, but it does not mean that it's not possible. I've seen some incredible things done in Blender, and I have no doubt that it's extremely capable. Like the program is capable of pretty much anything. The only limitation to Blender, really, guys, is you. You're the only limitation. Like whatever you can think of, you can probably do it in Blender. Their newest short film is so good. Yeah, agreed. Have you tried Cinema 4D or any other 3D software? Also, I missed a comment. Someone said, have you used Octane? No, who said did I use Octane? I have tried Octane, and it was a total pain. Have I tried Cinema 4D or any 3D software? No. I used to use Google SketchUp, but Octane, I've tried it. Cinema 4D, I haven't tried. Yeah, it was rendered in Eevee. Yeah, that's the crazier part, because people are able to achieve these super realistic renders in Eevee. Like, yeah, they're messing with some settings there. So, I'm not sure where you're seeing this course at, but I don't have a paid course at the moment. I'm just on YouTube right now. I do have a Patreon if you guys want to support me on there. And if you do support me on Patreon, which by the way, thank you in advance if you do, the second tier, which is 25 or I think it's $15 a month, you get to unlock all of my tutorial files. So basically anything that I put on YouTube, you just get access to a Google Drive link where it's literally every single Blender file that I've used. They're all in there for you guys. So definitely something worth looking at. I like the dispersion in Octane. It looks so good. Thoughts on Unreal? Oh yeah, Unreal's pretty cool. Again, I'm not going to ever hate on any other program because to each their own, but Unreal there's a reason that it's called Unreal. It's really it looks super realistic. So yeah, it's the future. All right, guys, enough talking. Let's actually hop into the tutorial. People are dropping off YouTube yeah, they're like, screw this. I don't want to talk. I want to see you do art. So let's actually hop into Blender and start creating some kind of a scene here. I guess I'll just point you guys towards the screen. Does that sound good? I know that's what you guys normally like, so let me just grab the tripod and set you guys up, and then we'll get started. Also, for everybody on YouTube, the one person that's left, I apologize. We are about to hop into the tutorial. I just like to answer your questions so that you guys understand that it's not always all about me. I'm trying to help you guys too, so let's just set this up. All right, guys. I am going to set you up. I'm going to switch you around here. All right, guys, so again, we're on YouTube as well. So if you guys want to hop over onto YouTube, that's cool too. All right. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get started. And I'm also going to be recording this for a future tutorial, so I'm going to do my whole introduction and then we'll hop right into it. Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be creating some kind of an abstract scene. Really no plan here. I do have a basic sketch that I just sketched out on our live stream here. I'm going to show you guys that. So the basic idea is I want to go ahead and take some kind of a subject and put it in an environment similar to a mountain landscape scene with a river flowing through it. We'll probably use an HDRI. We'll probably use some simple techniques in Blender that I'm going to show you to create this. So let's go ahead and hop into it. So the very first thing I'm going to do is save my document, which I've already done in advance this time, so you guys don't have to watch that part. I'm just going to delete my light, and I am going to move my camera closer so my audience can see what I'm doing. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to delete the cube because we don't need that. And I'm just going to go to my camera. Let's just set up our camera so that it's in a spot where we can be happy with it. I'm going to pop this little tab open, click on my camera, and I'm just going to reset every single thing to 0. And then I'm going to rotate it on the x-axis by 90 degrees. And I'm going to move it back on the y-axis as well so that it's kind of far beyond where our scene will actually be. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my face and put it in the bottom left here so you guys don't have to deal with that. And then I'm going to save again. I'm going to add in just a plane. I always like to have a plane in my scene just to give me some kind of reference as to like where I am in 3D space, like where everything should be. I'm also going to bring my camera up. I'm going to switch over to Cycles, GPU, and let's just add an environment texture in here. Let's get some basic lighting going here. How about we do some kind of an outdoor scene? Maybe a sunrise scene would be perfect. I'm going to save that, switch over to rendered view. As you can see, we have our HDRI set up, and this is from polyhaven.com, so anybody can get this for free. All right, now let's just add a quick subject to our scene and kind of start framing everything out. I'm just going to go ahead and add in a sphere. I'm going to bring it up. Well, first I'm going to snap to my camera, and then I'm going to bring our sphere up. Now, before I do anything else, I also want to show you guys how to rotate the environment so we can change up our lighting. So I'm going to hop over to the shading tab, click this little drop down here, and click on World. I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see all these nodes. I'm going to add in a mapping node, and I'm going to add in a texture coordinate node. Now I'm going to plug everything up like this, and then I'm going to snap back to my camera, go into rendered view, and now what I can do is I can change the Z rotation value right here so you guys can see this. And as you can see, the environment is going to shift however we want. I kind of want the sun to be like right there. I think that's pretty much perfect. And now we kind of have this nice light source coming from behind. And again, you guys can adjust this however you like. That looks pretty good too. And then if you want to quickly swap out your texture, you can, your image texture. Let's do, how about this one? This is Cape Hill. This is like a giant mountain landscape. This one might even be better because you actually do have the mountain in the background. So it's already starting to look like a mountain scene just from that alone. So this is pretty cool so far. I'm going to click on my sphere. I'm just going to give it a subdivision surface modifier. I'm going to shade it smooth. And I am going to also click on auto smooth as well. And I'm just going to give it a material. Let's just make it like a nice metallic, like copper type of material here. So I'm just going to make it metallic with a low roughness and maybe like a slight copper color. I feel like that looks pretty good. And another thing you can do is you can bump up this value called anisotropic, which kind of gives it this interesting glare kind of effect. So you don't have to do that, but it looks kind of cool when you do. And here's the difference. I'll show you before. This is before. And this is after. So it kind of just stretches the light, the way that the light warps around our object. So I actually think that looks really cool. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and add in some other objects. I'm going to try to form a mountain out of something else. So let's see if we can find something that's kind of close to that. We could take a plane and add a bunch of subdivisions to it. So maybe what I'll do is I'll go back into our solid view, duplicate this plane, Shift D, and then I'm going to scale it down a little bit, go to my top-down view and kind of put it back here. I'm going to scale it on my x-axis. So this is going to be our mountain that's in the background. So in order to create our mountain, the first thing I'm going to do is go to Object, Apply Scale, and then I'm going to tab into Edit Mode, right-click, Subdivide, and I'm going to do that a few times. That looks pretty good. Let's get out of that. And let's go ahead and add a displacement modifier. Click on New. And then we're going to go down here to our texture properties. And instead of image or movie, we're going to select distorted noise or Voronoi. So this is where you guys get to be kind of creative with like what you want. That looks pretty good. And then, so it's already going to start to look like some sort of like mountain landscape just when you do that alone. That looks pretty good. And then you can adjust the strength here as well. And then you can add another subdivision surface modifier to kind of smooth that out. So we're starting to get some sort of landscape type of thing here. And then you can always go in here and you can actually take some of these vertices, you can move them down. So like if we did something like this, let's go ahead and tab out. Now we have this almost like this concave shape that goes down. So you guys can edit all this stuff that you want. I'm actually going to undo that because I don't really like the way that came out. You can also adjust the mid-level. I'm just going to set that to 1. I'm going to scale this up a little bit and bring it down. Kind of like that. Now, you could use this for all of the mountain structure and just really bump up those subdivisions and shade it smooth. And again, you guys can adjust this to anything you desire. This is Voronoi texture. You guys can mess with all these textures. Like, again, I didn't really go into this with much of a plan. This is a noise texture, and this looks pretty cool. And don't forget to apply your scale if you actually do rotate things. I actually don't mind this too much. And as you can see, when we cut into the floor here, you can see that this plane kind of acts as like our river. So I wanted the river to flow through this, but I just want to show you guys something real quick. I'm going to go to my top-down view. I'm going to move this, scale it up a bit. I'm going to go back to our camera, and I'm going to move everything up, kind of like this. Now you see how we have these little like puddles coming through here? I'm going to go to my rendered view real quick and show you something. So there's a plane underneath of here. If we gave this plane a nice, either a glass shader or a nice metallic shader with a low roughness, see how now we almost have this river type of thing running through our environment? So already I'm kind of starting to like this. And again, we're not going for hyper realism here. We're going for something that we think looks abstract. Now I'm going to show you guys another cool tip. I'm going to go over to the animation tab. This is something I used to do a lot because you already have this split view. So I'm actually going to make my rendered view sit right here. And now whenever I adjust the camera, right, if I go to my top-down view and I adjust my camera, you can immediately see what that looks like. And we can easily start to plan out our shot. Like, I think this looks really cool here. I'm going to move my sphere into like the center. That looks awesome. And then we can start to adjust everything however we like. We can rotate our terrain. This is looking really cool. See, that's kind of a nice shot right there. Again, we can apply a material to our terrain. This is already starting to look really cool, and we've put in like barely any effort at all. I'm going to make a new material for our, whoops, what the heck happened there? Sorry, guys. Oh, our camera just got blocked because I rotated this too much. Sorry about that. Not sure how that happened. Oh, there we go. Even cooler, an even cooler composition right there. So guys, again, my camera just got clipped because of this thing that I moved. I'm going to create a new material. For whatever reason, when I'm creating that new material, it completely rotates my object again, and I do not know why. So I'm going to find that scene that I had earlier or something similar. That looks pretty cool. And now we can adjust our material however we like. And we can also make this metallic as well if we want to. Again, you don't want to go too crazy there. I actually didn't mind the white. That was kind of nice. And you can also make this anisotropic if you want to. You don't have to. It's totally up to you guys. All right, let me snap back to my camera and see what's going on here. Another thing I'm going to do is with our metallic material here, I'm actually going to see if I can make that a little bit more blue. So we can kind of make it look a little bit more like a darker water kind of color. There we go. Maybe a lighter blue. And again, you guys can adjust this stuff however you want. I'm just trying to show you how to quickly throw together a fun little environment here. And again, you can adjust the strength of your displacement. Oops. You can adjust the rotation of everything. That looks pretty good. And I think I actually want our sphere to be kind of closer to the water. So it's like almost touching, you know, kind of like that. And then we can come back and we can actually adjust our lighting as well. Again, this is me just kind of freehanding it. Like there's kind of no plan. I think I'm going to apply this displacement texture because I think it's actually messing things up when I go to rotate. I think that is what the issue is here. I'm going to apply our subdivision as well. And I'm going to find a new scene. I'm just going to keep rotating this until I find something kind of nice. I kind of like this little area in here. And again, you can move this down. You can go to your top-down view, find an open area. You can also scale this down significantly if you want to. I'm just going to keep messing with it until I find something I really, really like. I think that looks decent. And I'm also going to click on my camera and I'm going to adjust the pass part out, which is like that little area around it, so we can kind of narrow in on our scene here. Looks pretty cool. And I'm going to see if I can add one more displacement modifier to our mountain scene here. And the reason I'm going to do this is because, I'll show you right now, if you add some distorted noise to this or some Voronoi or Stucky, hear me out guys, and then add another subdivision. Oops, sorry, that was Solidify. Add a subdivision surface modifier to that. Now you kind of have these more organic shapes. I don't know if you guys can see that on the right hand side there. So this is another moment where you guys can kind of like add a little bit of texture to your scene. I think that looks pretty good there. And then again, I can go back into my shading tab and I can adjust my background to however I like. I think that looks pretty cool. And then I can go back and I can adjust my material as well. And again, this is all we've created right here. It's basically two planes, one with a displacement, a sphere. There's really not too much going on. I might even duplicate the sphere, scale it down a little bit, you know, change the color, maybe give it like a nice, maybe like, what's the opposite of orange? Blue, right? Maybe give it like a nice slight blue hint. That looks pretty good. I'm starting to like this so far. I do think this looks cool. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tab into edit mode for our original plane, the one that acts as our river, subdivide that a few times, and then I'm going to add another displacement to this. Displace, new, make that mid-level 0, and then I'm going to go over to my displacement area, and I'm actually just going to give this a magic displacement, and then I'm going to turn the strength way down. I'm going to subdivide it one more time. Okay, I'm going to turn the strength like way, way, way down. Let's go ahead and try maybe Stucky or wood. This is actually pretty good. I actually like wood because if you look, it's more of like a wavy kind of pattern. If you look at like the intensity as I increase this. That looks cool. But again, I'm going to subdivide one more time. And this is just about fine-tuning it to however you like. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm trying to create some variation in the, in our displacement here. There we go. I actually like that. I'm going to use the cloud texture. I'm going to snap back to my camera view, bring this down, and I'm going to shade it smooth. And so now it's a little bit more like water. And actually I'm starting to not like this metallic shader that we've created for our rocks here. In fact, I'm not going to make it metallic at all. I'm going to try to make it maybe a different color. Oh my gosh, not that color. There we go. Oh, you know what we could do, guys? We could give it some subsurface. Why don't we put subsurface at 1 and see what we can get here? Let me go to my light paths first and bump everything up a little bit. I'm just going to set everything to 5 for now. Besides volume, I'll set that to 0. That's going to be 5 times 4, which is 20. So we'll set 20 to our total light paths. I'm going to go back to my material settings here, and I am going to set the subsurface to 2. Starting to look cool. See how we're getting these really interesting things going on with the edges of our mountain here? And you can mess around with this as well. That looks really, really interesting. Now, what do we want our subsurface color to be? Do we want it to be some kind of a yellow or a, like if we set it to straight yellow or orange, this is what it would look like. See how the bottom here, you're getting more like light passing through the top area and less through the bottom. This is where you can get into some really interesting stuff. I almost want to try like a slight white blue. That looks pretty good. And again, you can completely adjust all these settings. That looks really, really interesting there. I'm not loving the lighting setup though, so I'm going to mess around with the lighting a little bit more. That looks kind of cool. I could literally play with the lighting for hours trying to get it to look a certain way. That looks kind of cool. I kind of like that light coming in from the corner there. And again, guys, we're kind of freehanding, like not really going into this with any particular plan. Should probably be planning out these tutorials a little bit more for you guys, but I'm just kind of going for it. Going for what I think looks cool. And I love the way this kind of looks like, almost like a glacier. And if you look through, you can see that subsurface scattering looking really, really nice. That looks so good. This is going to take years to render. Sorry, guys, I had a timer on my phone. Apologies. I actually think that looks really good, so I'm going to save those settings for that. The water's looking pretty good. Now, something I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my animation tab. I'm actually just going to scale this down a little bit, like so. And I'm going to bring it up until I think it's like pretty much just perfect. I really am starting to like this, though. I think this is turning into a really interesting looking scene. I think we're just going to have to mess around with the colors a bit more to get something that we really, really want. I'm going to see what this looks like as just like a solid chrome thing. I like that more. I'm going to go with that. This just looks so interesting. I think I'm going to make my subjects a bit bigger. Cool. And again, we can turn on the rule of thirds overlay for our camera if we want to go ahead and mess with that too, but I don't think it's necessary as of right now. I'm going to make this the same material, just kind of see what that looks like. I already think this just looks so cool, and we've barely done anything. There's one more thing we can do. We don't have to do this, but I'm just going to test it out. I'm going to go back to my solid view. This is something I do with a lot of projects just to see if it affects the lighting in a way that I want. I'm going to duplicate our sphere. I'm going to scale it up a bunch. Okay, you guys probably already know where I'm going with this. I'm going to get rid of the current shader. I'm going to give it a new glass shader. I'm going to shade it smooth. I'm just going to give it like 1.2. We'll snap back to our camera. Go to rendered view. Now, what this does is it creates an extremely blurred background, which I really, really like. And what's even nicer about this is if we go back to our animation tab and we kind of mess around with the size of this, notice how it completely changes everything when we scale it up and down as well. And we can mess with the roughness. This is a really low roughness, so you're going to see straight through to the sky. But if we raise this up a bunch, we can get this crazy abstract looking scene just with a nice glass shader around everything. I actually really like the way that turned out. And you just get this nice diffused lighting coming through, and I just think it looks so good. I genuinely just love the way that turned out. I'm going to mess around with our displacement a little bit more. Kind of play with that. See what that looks like. Again, I'm kind of going for these really organic looking shapes, but we don't want it to be too much. Solid view is probably the view to be messing with that in. This just looks so nice. We could probably use a little bit more for our scene. I'm trying to think of what else we could add to this. Now, if you guys really want to get crazy with it, right? I'll just try something real quick for the sake of trying something new, even though this isn't really new. First of all, I'm going to hide my sphere from the rendered view. I'm going to duplicate this entire thing, move it up. I'm going to completely flip it upside down. Okay, and I'm going to move it down. Now, you guys are probably wondering, Kenny, where do you get your ideas? Have you guys ever seen Inception? Oh my God, Inception. Interstellar, where they're on the ice planet. So I'm going to try kind of something like that and just see what that looks like. I don't love it, but again, this is kind of part of the experimental process. You guys can do whatever you want. This looks interesting, but I don't think this is what I was looking for. Yeah, definitely not what I was looking for. So I like the way we had it right here. Another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure we are on like maybe 500 samples for this. I'm going to generate an image that's twice the size of our normal resolution. So instead of 1920 by 1080, I'm going to do 200% of that. So whatever that is doubled is what we're going to create. And the reason I'm doing that is because we're going to have more pixels to work with, and we're going to get a higher quality image that we can crop to any size we want. So I can crop Instagram square, Instagram portrait. I'm just going to have this nice big render that looks really good. And yes, guys, we can animate this, but I'm not going to go into that right now. I'm going to collapse my light paths. I'm going to open up color management down in the bottom right here. For filmic, that's fine. For the view transform, for the look, I'm going to do medium high contrast. I think that looks pretty good. Overall, I'm pretty happy with like how this turned out. For the camera, we are using a 50 millimeter lens. That's fine. That's pretty much what you would have in the real world. Depth of field, we can mess with that for a second, although I don't think it's going to look too good with this type of scene. This is a 0.2 f-stop with a 10 millimeter focal distance. It looks cool, but I don't necessarily know if it works for this type of scene. We could bump it up to like f1 and just see if we can have some nice blur in the foreground. It still looks cool. We could go with something like that. Now I do want to kind of see what we're going to get with our render time here. Our noise threshold by default is 0.01. I'm going to put that up to 0.1, kind of see where we get there. Denoising, I'm going to use optics. We're using our GPU to render this. Everything looks good. I'm going to go ahead to solid view. I'm going to click on render image, and let's just see kind of like average how long this is going to take. It looks like it's going to take, it says it's going to take like 8 minutes. That sounds about right. It's a pretty big image. The light paths have been bumped up. I do think this is going to turn out really, really cool though. So I'm super excited to see how this turns out. I'm probably going to cut the tutorial right here and come back when it's done rendering. For now, I'll answer my live stream questions. All right. Let me go ahead back and answer your guys' questions while that renders out. Sorry. It looks really good. It's going to actually take less time than I originally thought, so we're chilling. It's going to take about... Oh, it's actually almost done. Huh. That was actually pretty quick. That looks really good, too. All right, let me see what I missed here, guys. I feel like a few of you asked questions. Incredible artwork, sir. Thank you. I was like, is there a red pin across your face? And then I realized it's the OBS guides. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I probably should have clicked off of that, but it's not in the actual recording. It's just the guides for setting up the scene. All right, our render is done. Oh, it doesn't look too good, actually. It looks a little noisy. All right, let's go ahead and face you guys back around. I've recently found you, and I'm amazed by your work. Thank you so much, BM and Anakanta. Sir, can you just recreate Hanuman movie teaser 3D animated video? I have no idea what that is, but maybe. Maybe in the future I can. So, anyway, this is the render. Definitely not enough samples. I think those subsurface scattering is what's throwing off the whole render. It still looks cool, but to be honest, this is not what I wanted. So, you know, it'd be really cool is if we threw like a little polar bear up there or something. Here, hold on. All right. There you go. Cool. All right. Okay, guys, so the render is done, and this is something I actually wanted included. I actually didn't like the way this turned out. If you zoom in, there's a lot of noise within this subsurface scattering material, and I didn't like that. But I wanted to show you guys that in the tutorial because I want to show you kind of like honest mistakes like throughout the process, the things that you're going to have to deal with Blender. So I might just have to re-render this with higher sample counts as much as I don't want to, or just reduce my light paths a little bit, mess with that noise threshold. So I'm actually going to lower the noise threshold a bit. I'm going to go ahead back to my sampling. Blender's glitching out. There we go. Instead of 0.1, I'm going to go back to 0.01. And I think I'm going to try to render this again at 100% this time, not 200%. So let's go ahead and render again and see what we get. It should take less time now because it's half the size of the previous image. Give that a second to load up there. It says it's going to take about 1:30. It'll probably take less time. Let's just go ahead and see what we get here. While we're waiting, I'll answer these questions. How do you do your composition? Blender is kind of confusing. Yeah, it's a little confusing at times if you're brand new to it. How do I do the composition? Honestly, guys, just off the top of my head, like just whatever I'm thinking of, that's kind of what I create. So, yeah. But this is I'm really excited to see kind of how this comes out here. It's going to take 40 more seconds here, it's saying. It looks good, though. Like, it does look good. I kind of like the noise in a weird way because I feel like it's fitting for that texture. But at the same time, if that's not what you're looking for, man, it's not what you're looking for. And you're going to have to bump those light paths up or bump those samples up. Just look at the movie. Hopefully you can recreate it. I don't think I'm going to recreate an entire movie, respectfully. I'd rather focus on, like, small tutorials like this. Alright, it's about to be done. Alright, so our render just finished, and it actually this looks a little bit better. For at least the thumbnail itself, I'm pretty happy with that. I'll probably re-render this at a greater size with like 1,000 samples or something like that, but we're still getting a little bit of noise in there. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out, though. And for like the amount of time that we put into this actual abstract scene, I really, really like it, and I think it looks pretty awesome. So I will be including this in my Google Drive for you guys. So if you guys are a Patreon member on the second tier, you will have access to this file, and you'll be able to do whatever you like with it. You can change the colors, you can change the materials. I'm super excited to kind of throw that up there on the Google Drive for you guys. There's a lot of great content we're going to be putting out this week. So I hope you guys enjoyed that kind of process. I know it was a little bit of a lengthy tutorial, but I just wanted to show you guys kind of how I work and the types of techniques that I implement into my projects to kind of push those renders to the next level. I think this looks really awesome. And I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Consider supporting me on Patreon and definitely join the Discord. There's a lot of talented artists in there that are constantly throwing up questions about Blender that you might be able to answer if I can't, and you can go ahead and post your work in there to get critiqued. So I hope to see you guys in the next tutorial and have a great day. Cool. Alright guys, so alright, that was that. Alright, sorry, I clearly am missing some parts of these questions here, guys. Oh my gosh. There we go. Alright, my phone stand does not want to hold my phone right now. I apologize. There we go. Hey man, I was confused about Burnout Car. What? Bro, I have no idea what you're talking about. I apologize. I will Gmail you now, sir, now. No, you can just just send me a DM. I'd rather you send me a DM on Instagram. Please, respectfully. Thank you so much. To everybody on YouTube, I'm going to stop the stream for now. I'm going to kind of stick to Instagram, but I hope you guys did enjoy this